Our story tonight begins at the very top of a stone bell tower, where the air is cooler, thinner, and gently alive with night. The tower rises from the center of the village like a patient old guardian, its stones smoothed by centuries of weather, prayer, and time. Below, narrow streets curve like ribbons between darkened houses, their windows dim, their doors resting quietly in place. Up here, the world feels slower. A single figure stands beside the great bronze bell, so large it has its own name, its own history, its own voice. The bellringer moves calmly, deliberately, wrapped in a thick wool cloak that smells faintly of smoke and rain. His steps are unhurried, as though he knows that nothing important ever arrives by rushing. He has rung this bell since his youth, at dawn, at noon, at dusk, and now, at night. In medieval towns like this one, bells were more than sound. They were time itself. They told farmers when to wake, bakers when to pull bread from ovens, monks when to pray, and villagers when the gates would close. Long before clocks ticked and chimed, bells carried the hours across fields and rooftops, floating gently through the air. Tonight, though, the bell is silent. The bellringer rests his hand against the cool stone wall and looks upward. Above him, the sky opens wide. Stars scatter across the darkness like silver dust, steady and ancient. He knows them well not by their modern names, but by the stories passed down through monasteries and whispered lessons. Medieval monks once believed the heavens were a kind of holy manuscript, written by divine order. To read the stars was to listen carefully and to be humble. The bellringer exhales slowly. Between each chime, he has learned to wait. He counts not only minutes, but moments. As you listen, imagine the faint brush of night wind against your face. It carries the scent of damp earth, of distant fields resting under moonlight. Somewhere far below, a dog shifts in its sleep. A shutter creaks once, then settles again. Nothing needs attention. The bellringer traces a familiar pattern in the sky, the slow arc of stars that help him mark the hour. Before mechanical clocks, monks and scholars often measured time by the heavens, watching how constellations rose and tilted through the night. The stars did not rush, and neither did they fail. They were dependable, comfortingly so. Let your thoughts follow that same unhurried path. The bellringer feels the weight of the rope in his hand, rough fibers worn smooth by generations before him. He doesn't pull yet. There is space, space, to breathe, to observe, to simply be. The bell tower creaks softly, a sound like an old building stretching in its sleep. Somewhere, a breeze slips through a narrow archway, stirring dust and carrying it gently away. You may notice now how your body feels heavier, more settled, as if gravity itself has become kind. If a thought wanders in, that's perfectly fine. Let it pass through like a cloud, crossing the stars, without needing to follow it. Up in the tower, the bellringer smiles faintly. He has always liked this hour best, the time between the village's first sleep and second. In medieval life, many people slept in two parts, waking briefly around midnight to pray, reflect, or simply sit quietly by the fire. The bellringer knows that some souls below may be stirring now, while others drift deeper. Both are exactly as they should be. He gives the rope a gentle pull. The bell does not clang sharply. It speaks. A low, round tone rolls outward, spreading across rooftops and fields, softening as it travels. The sound doesn't demand attention, it reassures. It tells the town, all is well. Time is passing, you are safe. As the vibration fades, the bellringer waits again. Let yourself wait with him. Notice the space after the sound, the quiet that follows. That quiet isn't empty, it's full of rest, full of possibility, full of night. The stars continue their slow journey overhead, and the bellringer resumes his counting, not with numbers, but with presence. And as the tower stands steady around him, and the village dreams below, the night gently holds you too. Thanks for listening. The bell's echo thins into silence, and in that silence, the night seems to lean closer. The bellringer loosens his grip on the rope and lets his shoulders sink, just a little. He has learned that stillness is not the absence of movement, but a kind of listening. The tower listens with him, the stones, the beams, the iron fittings all holding centuries of whispered hours. Below, the village breathes. Roofs glisten faintly under moonlight. A thin ribbon of smoke curls from a distant chimney where embers still glow, sheltered and warm. Somewhere, a hearth settles with a soft crackle, like a quiet sigh. As you listen, imagine that warmth too. A gentle heat at your back. A sense of being enclosed, protected. High above, the Bellringer tilts his head and follows the stars again. There is one cluster he always returns to, a simple pattern that monks once used to measure the passage of the night before bells were rung for matins. It drifts slowly, patiently, reminding him that time does not hurry anyone. In medieval thought, time was not something to conquer. It was something to live inside, of like a river you float upon, rather than swim against. Let yourself float now. The Bellringer's breath fogs faintly in the cool air. He counts each exhale, not because he must, but because it feels grounding. Each breath is a small anchor, holding him gently in the present moment. You might notice your own breathing now, the way it rises and falls, all by itself. Another breeze slips through the tower's open arches, carrying with it the faint rustle of leaves from the trees beyond the town walls. In the dark fields, crops lie flattened and resting, their work for the day complete. Farmers trust the bell and the stars alike, knowing when to rise, when to sleep, when to let go. The Bellringer rests his palm against the bell's bronze surface. It is cool and smooth, etched with faded symbols and words added by hands long gone. Some believed bells could ward off storms or illness, that their sound pushed chaos away and called order back in. Tonight, the bell does not push, it soothes. He waits again, counting not minutes, but heartbeats. 1, 2, 3, each beat slower than the last. If a thought drifts through your mind now, let it soften. You don't need to solve anything. You don't need to remember anything. You can imagine placing that thought gently beside the bell, letting it rest there until morning. The Bellringer glances toward the horizon, where the stars seem to lean closer to the earth. Medieval scholars believed the heavens moved in perfect circles, each one carrying meaning, each one singing silently. Some nights, standing here, he almost believes he can hear that music, a low, distant harmony beneath the quiet. The next chime comes easily, a gentle pull, a familiar weight, a sound that rolls outward like a calm wave. The bell's voice travels through stone and air, slipping into open windows, brushing across dreams. It does not wake, it reassures. It tells sleepers that the world is still in order, that someone is watching the hours so they do not have to. The Bellringer listens as the sound fades, and then nothing, just the stars, just the wind, just the soft, steady presence of night. He settles onto a small wooden bench built into the tower wall, the wood worn smooth by countless nights like this. He wraps his cloak tighter, not from cold, but from comfort, the way one might wrap themselves in a familiar blanket. You might imagine that feeling now, the weight of warmth, the sense of being held. Down below, a cat crosses an empty street, its paws silent on stone. Somewhere, farther away, an owl calls once, then rests again. The world feels balanced, untroubled. The Bellringer closes his eyes briefly, trusting the stars to continue their slow, faithful motion. He knows when it will be time again. There is no rush, and neither is there for you. Your body may feel heavier now, more relaxed, as if sinking gently into the surface beneath you. Muscles soften, the mind loosens its grip. Up in the tower, the night watch continues, not with effort, but with ease. And as the stars turn, and the village sleeps, you are free to drift even deeper into this quiet. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a peaceful rest. Please subscribe for more moments of calm. The night deepens, not darker, but softer, like a velvet curtain drawn gently closed. The Bellringer opens his eyes again, slowly, as if he were waking from a pleasant thought rather than keeping watch. Above him, the stars have shifted just enough to mark the quiet passage of time. He nods to them, an old habit, a silent greeting between familiar companions. In medieval towers like this one, the hours were not rushed by ticking gears. They were felt by cold stone under the hand, by the weight of the air, by the angle of the sky. The Bellringer trusts these signs the way others trust clocks. He rises from the bench and stretches, joints moving easily, Without strain, the tower answers with a low creak, a sound so gentle it feels more like a whisper than a noise. As you listen, imagine your own body stretching in the same unhurried way. Nothing forced, nothing tight, just ease. The Bellringer steps closer to the open arch and looks down. The town is wrapped in sleep now, a patchwork of roofs and shadows. Medieval houses were built close together, sharing warmth, sharing walls, sharing silence. At night, the village becomes one resting body. A single candle still burns in a distant window. Perhaps a mother rocking a child, or a monk reading by dim light, or someone awake between first sleep and second, letting thoughts wander without urgency. The Bellringer smiles again. He remembers being younger, counting the hours with impatience, waiting for dawn. Over time, the night taught him something different, that darkness is not emptiness, is rest, a pause written into the world. The wind brushes past him once more, cool and kind. It lifts the edge of his cloak and carries with it the faint smell of hay and river water. Sounds travel farther at night, but tonight there is little to carry. Let that quiet stretch around you. If your thoughts are slowing now, that's perfectly natural. If they drift, that's welcome too. There is nothing here to hold on to tightly. The Bellringer returns to the rope, fingers wrapping around it with familiarity. He does not pull yet. He waits for the right feeling. The alignment of breath, stars, and stillness. Medieval Bellringers often learned their craft, not by written instruction, but by listening, by feeling when the moment was right. Listening like this, feeling like this, feeling like this. Another breath in and out. Then the bell speaks again. Its tone is deep and rounded, like a warm hum that vibrates through stone and bone alike. The sound rolls outward, slower than before, settling into the night rather than cutting through it. As it fades, imagine that sound moving through you, to loosening anything that still feels tight, smoothing any rough edges of thought. The Bellringer rests his forehead briefly against the rope, eyes closed. He does not count the chimes anymore. The stars have taken over that task. In medieval belief, the heavens were orderly, purposeful. To look at them was to be reminded that everything had its place, including rest. Below, the last candle flickers out. The village sinks fully into sleep. You may notice now how little effort it takes to simply listen. How your breathing has found its own slow pattern. How the world feels far away, yet safe. The Bellringer steps back once more, settling into stillness. The tower holds him, as the night holds the town, as rest holds you. There is no more doing, no more tracking, only being. Stars turn, time flows, and sleep comes softly when it is ready. The night has reached its quietest point, now the deep, gentle hollow, where everything rests. The Bellringer senses it before he sees it. The air feels fuller somehow, as if the darkness itself has settled in to listen. The stars above seem to glow more softly, not brighter, but calmer, as though they too are growing drowsy. He lowers himself back onto the wooden bench, moving slowly so the tower won't even notice. The bench is cool beneath him, steady and reliable. He leans back against the stone wall, feeling its solid presence at his spine, thick, ancient, unmoving. Imagine that steadiness for yourself. Something firm and safe, supporting you completely. No need to hold yourself up. The bell rope hangs nearby, motionless now, a quiet promise that the hours are cared for. He doesn't need to touch it for a while. The stars are still in their proper places. Time is behaving itself. In medieval nights like this, silence was never absolute. It was layered, made of small, peaceful sounds. The faint sigh of wind through grass. The distant murmur of a river beyond the fields. The occasional settling of wood and stone as buildings adjusted to the cool. Let those sounds drift through your imagination now. Soft, far away, unimportant. The Bellringer folds his hands loosely in his lap and lets his eyelids grow heavy, not asleep, just resting. He has learned the difference. Rest is a wide, open state. It asks for nothing. His breathing slows further, deep and even, as if matching the rhythm of the bell he knows so well. In and out, each breath smoothing the edges of the night. Long ago, monks believed that each hour had its own spiritual quality. This hour, deep night, was thought to be especially close to the divine. Not because of effort or prayer, but because of surrender. Nothing is demanded here. The Bellringer feels that surrender now, the kind that comes from trust. Trust that the bell will be rung when needed. Trust that dawn will arrive without help. Trust that the world knows how to continue on its own. You may feel something similar now, a sense that you don't need to monitor anything anymore. Your body knows how to rest. Your mind knows how to drift. Above, a star slips slowly behind the edge of the tower arch, replaced by another, just as steady, just as calm. The sky keeps its promises quietly. The Bellringer's thoughts soften into images rather than words. Flickers of memory bells ringing in morning mist, sunlight warming the stones, voices returning to the streets. But these thoughts don't pull him forward. They float, then fade. If memories arise for you now, let them do the same. Appear, drift, disappear. Nothing needs to be finished tonight. The tower gives a soft creak again, settling deeper into stillness. The Bellringer smiles faintly without opening his eyes. He knows this sound well. It means the building is comfortable. You might imagine your own space becoming comfortable too. Adjusted, aligned, at ease. Minutes, or maybe longer, pass without notice. Time is no longer something to count. It stretches gently, like a long, unbroken note. At last, the Bellringer stirs just enough to stand again. Not because he must, but because it feels right. He moves to the archway and looks up one final time. The stars have shifted again. Dawn is still far away, but it has been acknowledged. Everything is in order. He gives the bell a final, quiet chime for this watch. The sound is barely more than a murmur, low, round, and brief. It doesn't travel far. It doesn't need to. As it fades, the Bellringer steps back and rests his hand on the stone wall, grounding himself in its cool solidity. His watch is nearly complete. Down below, the village remains wrapped in sleep, undisturbed and safe. And you don't need to listen closely anymore. My voice can soften now, drift farther away, like the last echo of a bell dissolving into night air. There is nothing else to follow, nothing else to imagine, only rest, and the slow, steady turning of stars. When you're ready to drift even deeper, I'm here. Sweet dreams. The night begins to loosen its hold, not by ending, but by easing. The Bellringer feels it as a subtle change, the way one senses a sleeper turning gently in bed. The air is still cool, still dark, but there is a softness now, a thinning at the edges of the night. He doesn't name it. He simply notices. He steps away from the arch and moves slowly around the tower, checking each familiar corner. The lantern hangs untouched, its wick resting. The steps spiral downward into shadow, patient and waiting. Everything is as it should be. He pauses again, listening. Silence, layered and kind. Imagine that silence surrounding you, not pressing in, but opening outward. A wide, quiet space where nothing can hurry you. The Bellringer returns to his bench one last time and sits. He rests his hands on his knees, feeling the warmth left there from before. Stone and wood remember him. They always have. In medieval towns, places remembered people. Walls, bells, towers, they absorbed centuries of presence. The Bellringer knows that long after he is gone, this tower will still hold the shape of his knights. That thought doesn't trouble him. It comforts him. He closes his eyes fully now. His breathing becomes so slow, it almost disappears. Each inhale feels like night air filling the tower. Each exhale feels like releasing the last weight of waking. You may feel that release too. A gentle letting go. As if sleep is no longer something ahead of you, but something you are already inside. Above, the stars continue their slow, elegant turning. Medieval scholars once believed that the music of the spheres was always playing, unheard, but constant. The Bellringer imagines that hum, now a deep, peaceful harmony beneath everything. It does not need to be heard, to be felt. The tower settles completely. No creaks now, no movement, just rest. If a thought floats up, let it dissolve before it finishes forming. You don't need full sentences. You don't need clarity. Only softness. The bell rope hangs, unmoving, its work complete. The bell itself rests, content. knowing it has spoken enough for this night. Far below, the first hint of morning is still hidden. There is no rush toward it. The night is allowed to finish being night. The Bellringer drifts not into sleep exactly, but into something close enough to feel the same, a watchful dreaming, a peaceful pause between moments. And as my voice grows quieter now, you don't need to follow it. You can let it fade like the bell's echo, thinner, softer, gone. Rest here, stay warm, let the stars keep time for you. The tower remains still, as if it, too, has closed its eyes. The Bellringer barely feels the passage of moments now. Time no longer moves in lines or numbers, it drifts, wide and gentle, like fog over a field before sunrise. His thoughts are no longer thoughts at all, but sensations, weight, warmth, quiet. If you notice yourself slipping in and out of awareness, that's perfect. That's exactly where you're meant to be. Somewhere deep in the village, a rooster shifts on its perch, but does not crow. Even the morning knows to wait. The world is holding its breath, savoring the last fullness of night. The Bellringer's chest rises and falls, slow and steady. Each breath seems to smooth the inside of him, like water polishing stone. He is not guarding the night anymore. He is part of it. In medieval belief, the hours before dawn were sacred, not because of effort, but because of stillness. This was the hour when even monks allowed themselves to simply be wrapped in silence, unobserved. You are unobserved now, too. Nothing is watching. Nothing is waiting. The stars above soften further, some fading gently as the sky begins its slow change. The Bellringer does not look up this time. He doesn't need to. The stars have already done their work. The tower's stones hold the last cool of night, pressing softly against his back. He leans into them without thinking, trusting completely. The bell hangs quiet, content, a great heart at rest. If your body feels heavy now, let it. If your thoughts feel distant, let them drift farther. There is nothing else to arrive at. The night has given you everything it needs to give. And as my voice becomes quieter, slower, less important, you can allow yourself to sink fully into rest. No more listening, no more imagining, only sleep, deep and kind. Everything remains calm, unbroken, whole. The Bellringer is no longer aware of the tower as a place separate from himself. Stone, wood, rope, breath, they have blended into one quiet presence. It is the kind of stillness that doesn't feel empty, but deeply complete. If you notice gaps between thoughts now, let them widen. If awareness flickers, let it dim. There is nothing here that requires focus. Let go of any effort to concentrate. The mind is ready to quiet down, and you can allow it to do so. The body knows how to find its own peace. Far beyond the hills, morning waits patiently, but it does not approach yet. Medieval nights were not chased away by dawn. They were allowed to finish gently, like the last page of a well-loved book. The Bellringer's shoulders soften even more, if that were possible. Gravity feels kind. The world feels trustworthy. He is held not by effort, not by thought, but by time itself. You may feel the same sensation now, as if the surface beneath you has grown warmer, more welcoming, as if your body has settled into exactly the right shape, the perfect posture for deep rest. Every muscle releases its hold, trusting the support beneath you completely. The tower does not creak anymore. Even the wind has gone quiet, as though it, too, has fallen asleep. The bell rope hangs perfectly still, a straight, peaceful line in the dark. There is no counting now, no watching, no waiting, only rest, just a gentle, unfolding quiet. The mind is a calm, deep lake, its surface undisturbed. Any thoughts that may arise are like distant stars reflected on the water, too far away to cause a ripple. You are drifting in this serene stillness, carried by a gentle current toward sleep. If dreams come, they will come softly, like whispers on the wind. If sleep deepens without images, that is just as right. There is no right or wrong way to rest. There is only this moment of profound peace. My voice will continue to fade, thinning like mist in early light. No need to follow it, no need to hold it. Let it go. You are safe. You are warm. You are done for the night. And if you wish to remain here just a little longer, drifting, weightless, quiet, I'm here. Rest now. Sleep well. The world stays suspended in that gentle in-between. Not night, not morning, just rest. The Bellringer does not move now. He is as still as the stones around him, as quiet as the bell itself. If someone were to look up from the square below, they would see nothing but shadow and sky, and that is exactly how it should be. Stillness has settled everywhere. In this hour, medieval towns believed that worries loosened their grip. Debts, disputes, plans for harvest or travel, all of them were thought to soften in the deep night, when the soul could stretch out and breathe without burden. You may feel that softening now, concerns becoming less defined, edges blurring, importance fading. The Bellringer's breath is so slow it feels like part of the tower's rhythm, in and out, each breath barely there. He no longer counts. There is nothing to measure. The sky lightens almost imperceptibly, not with brightness, but with relief. A faint silverness gathers far beyond the hills, like a promise not yet spoken. But this moment is not about what comes next. It is about being here. The bell rope sways slightly, moved only by a wandering breath of air. It settles again immediately, satisfied. The bell does not stir. Its voice will return when needed. For now, silence is enough. You may notice that my voice feels farther away now. That's intentional. You don't need it close. You don't need guidance. Your body already knows where to go. Sleep is not something you fall into. It is something you remember how to return to. The Bellringer's thoughts dissolve completely. No images, no words, just a deep, even presence, like the earth itself resting beneath everything. If dreams begin to form, let them. If there is only darkness, let that be enough. The tower holds. The village rests. The stars complete their final slow turn. And you are free to drift fully away from listening. Nothing else will be asked of you tonight. The quiet holds. Nothing changes. And that is the comfort of it. The Bellringer is no longer thinking of bells, or towers, or stars. Those things exist, but they no longer require attention. Awareness has softened into something wider and slower, like a lake without ripples. If you are listening now, you may not be listening in the way you were before. Sounds may feel distant. My words may blur at the edges. That's a sign you're doing nothing at all. Perfectly. The tower stands steady, rooted deep into the earth beneath the village. Its stones are cool, ancient, unbothered by passing hours. They have held countless nights like this, one nights where nothing needed to happen. The Bellringer's breathing is almost indistinguishable from the silence. In, out, so gentle it barely registers. He is not asleep, not awakeningly, resting in the space between. Medieval thinkers believed that true rest was a form of alignment, a moment when the body, the soul, and the world fell into the same rhythm. This hour was made for that. You may feel that rhythm now. Slow, even, uncomplicated. The stars above continue their turning, unseen, uncounted. They do not announce themselves. They simply move, as they always have. Time passes, but it does not intrude. If a dream begins to gather, let it form without effort. If there is only darkness, let that darkness feel soft and safe. The bell remains silent, not because it has been forgotten, but because it is trusted. Its work is complete for now. My voice grows quieter still, not ending, just drifting farther away. Like a sound heard through layers of sleep. There is nothing else to say, nothing else to imagine, nothing else to follow, only rest. Deep, steady, and kind. The stillness remains, gentle, unbroken. At this point in the night, even the idea of time feels distant. The Bellringer is no longer a watcher, no longer a keeper of hours. He is simply present, quiet as the stone beneath him, calm as the sky above him. If you are drifting now, you don't need to come back. If you are hovering on the edge of sleep, you don't need to cross it deliberately. Sleep knows how to arrive on its own. The tower exists without effort. The village exists without thought. You exist without needing to do anything at all. Somewhere far away, the horizon grows the faintest shade lighter, but it does not announce itself. It waits. Dawn, in the medieval world, was never abrupt. It unfolded slowly, respectfully, giving rest its full measure. The Bellringer's breath is so soft it feels like part of the air itself. His body has completely yielded to rest, supported by stone that has stood for centuries without strain. Imagine that kind of support now, unmoving, reliable, carrying all of your weight without asking anything in return. No thoughts need finishing, no worries need revisiting. Everything important has already been set aside for morning. The bell, the rope, the tower, the stars all remain exactly where they should be. Nothing is missing. Nothing is late. My voice is barely a presence now, more like a memory of sound than sound itself. You don't need to listen to the words. You can let them blur, soften, fade. Sleep is already here, deep, slow, natural. Stay where you are. Rest as long as you like. The night will hold you. And if you wish to drift just a little longer in this quiet space, you may. I'm here, quietly, until you no longer need anything at all. Thank you for listening tonight. I hope you find peaceful rest. Subscribe for more stories to help you sleep.